Thank you, Glenn. So Glenn, as you can see, Glenn and I, as extension agents, have a little bit different role, simply because of the nature of our community and our and the ruralness of our island. So we do a lot of community development, in addition to our regular jobs as extension agents. So I think everybody here wears multiple hats, not just in our office, but in our community to make things work. But I want to thank you for having me today. I'm going to talk just a little bit about how we connect our rural community, through Indigenous food. So I'm going to talk about a few of the programs that we do. And so I wanted to show this picture here. This is at Waialua River down by the bridge, close to where I live. I walk past there several times a week, and it's a really nice shot. It has a lot of, if you look really close, it has a lot of our indigenous crops, including our breadfruit. You can't see it in this picture, but there is some sweet potato there, as well as some taro. You've got banana, and then you have coconut or niu that you can also see in the photo. So for Extension, we do a lot of outreach and education. So we're here to address the local needs, and we're very versatile. That means that our classroom is not always made of brick and mortar. So we might be visiting with a farmer, and spreading out papers or a microscope, magnifying glass on the back of a tailgate early in the morning, near a field, or we may be meeting with clients, as soon as they get off work, or even working with the schools to help teach the next generation. We're here to address the grassroots efforts, so we work for the people. We do a lot of variety trials and demonstrations, as Glenn said, so there's a lot of applied research and demonstration that goes into what we do. As far as community, of course, here on Molokai, culture is always connected. And so Glenn had mentioned that for over 30, almost 40 years, Alton had worked with the Hawaiian Tarot collection here on Molokai. And so I'm very fortunate to have worked with him on this project and continue that work. As far as culture and tying that in, you can see here where we're doing it only into our event. We did have to go virtual for the last couple of years, and we're hoping this next year that we'll be able to have our event back in person. But we always try to include taste testing as well as a kalo cooking contest, to encourage people to carry on with the traditions of our culture. As far as our Hawaiian tarot collection goes, over the years, we've given away as many as 10,000 huli to our community, in a year. Those numbers have dwindled over the past couple of years because of the Access Deer program, our process that Glenn was talking about. We've been inundated by deer with multiple years of our does giving birth to twins. And so even though we take plenty out, there's plenty to replace them. And so the deer had gotten into the farm and really done a lot of damage to the collection. And one of the things that that was a concern for us over the years is that every year we were having to give 10,000 huli away. And it's a wonderful thing to be able to do, but it's also a concern that why are people having to come back to us and not being able to cultivate the huli themselves? And so when worse got to worse with the deer, before we were able to get our deer fencing here, we actually saw the community and this project come full circle, because finally we had, at our time of need, when we were losing varieties due to the deer population, we actually had community members who were returning huli to us to complete the collection. So it's a wonderful time for us, and it's something that's very exciting to see our community finally really grasping the concept of not just coming to us all the time, but being able to give back. We also have worked with HDOA and Kupahu, uh, Ka'aina. You see Josh Pastrana here. He works on that project along with our Hawaiian Tarot collection and also Noah's breadfruit collection that we have on the farm. But through this lunar project, we've been able to look at planting by the moon phase at 3 different varieties. And you can see here that one of the really neat things about this project is that over the last couple of years, we've been able to provide huli from this project as well. So in 2020, there were almost 6,000 huli just from the lunar project that were given out to the community. And as we're transitioning this project away from the UH farm and into local producer production, you can see that we've got fewer and fewer, and hopefully our numbers will be back up. Although we've already given away, I think Josh has already given out 1,300 and counting this year. Our bananas, they get some attention. A special thanks to Amjad and our team on the Revitalizing the Declining Hawaiian Banana Industry project. So there's been over 2,000 seedlings of a cultivar tolerant to BBTV, or banana bunchy top virus, and the Panama wilt that have been distributed statewide. 50 of those were done here on Molokai, and the team has done over 25 workshops along with these distributions to help our banana industry. So community connections, one of the things that we really encourage is, as we work with producers, we like to think of every producer that we work with as we're training a trainer. So everyone that we work with, we hope that they take at least one thing away that they can share with someone else. And so I'm super excited to say that we have Kunani and Ipo Nihipali that are doing the Molokai Niu Nursery and their Ulu Niu work here on island, and they're going to be expanding their work to 3 more sites, including 3 more families with the nursery work that they're doing with the coconuts here on island. And so there's I don't have time to show you the video, but there's a really nice video of their project. So in creating partnerships, we've been creating our partnerships around our food. So for over 2 years, we worked with Noah Lincoln and Sustainable Molokai, as well as other organizations here in our community, to help distribute over 700 ulu trees here on Molokai. So we've worked with Sustainable Molokai, which is one of our stakeholders here on island. And I believe Malama Kauai was also involved in a free giveaway of ulu trees 2 consecutive years. We've also worked with community organizations who have invested in this type of project, such as Aina Momona and Kiava Nui and others. We've had friends that have been purchasing the trees and gifting them to other community members. And then we had the funnest thing for me was to have someone who was turning 40 approach us about purchasing 40 trees and planting 40 trees for 40 years for the 40-year birthday. And I thought that was a great example of how to invest in our island and in our indigenous resources and our food supply. So for the Ulu giveaway, we have volunteers who come and help with the initial potting of the plants. And then here you can see we always get great mahalos back for that particular project. And we want to thank our partner, Sustainable Molokai, and also Noah Lincoln's project for allowing us to be a part of this. It's been an honor to be able to grow the over 700 trees here in our greenhouse at the UH property. It's been a pleasure. So then we work on passing on the tradition. So we've been a part of the Beginning Farmer program, like Glenn had said, and I've also taught quite a few workforce development programs, the last one being a Garden to Farm program. And so it's really nice to see this next generation coming along and bringing their keiki with them. As Glenn said, with the pineapple population and plantations that we had here, our local residents were several generations removed from actually farming the land themselves, and we're seeing that new movement of the next generation. And so over here on the right hand side, are a couple of members of one of our hui's here on island that are actually growing canoe plants on a homestead farm, and they take socially disadvantaged youth from one of our areas here on Molokai, take them out to the farm, and not only teach them about growing the plants and about farming, but also making value added products like woven baskets and coconut shell pencil holders and bowls to sell and help keep the project going. So they're passing on the traditional crafts that have been done here. We also are excited about instilling values early, and because this is one of the keys. Lighty mentioned the Farm to School program. So Tina Kakpal is now with us here at the Molokai office, and we also have Kyle Franks, who is our DHHL agent, who are working with our schools to help us increase although we're called the farmers, to help us increase the education as far as agriculture goes. So you can see, and most people know, we have a long history of uwala or sweet potato here on Molokai, but Noah helped us bring Lani Keha back a couple of years ago, and this is actually Lani Keha, and it's growing up at the Mauna Loa school, and these are the children at the Mauna Loa school that are actually harvesting and taking home to their families so they can enjoy eating and planting. And so instilling this in our youth at an early age while also strengthening our community and our families. So the last thing I wanted to mention is our Ohana Garden and Grinds program, which is a part of the Get Local program. This is a rural health and safety education grant that we have. And so what we found is that by bringing our generations together to do things that have been culturally relevant in the past and making our garden and our kitchen the safety zones for communication, we're able to bring those families, especially the multi-generational families, back together, open up the lines of communication so they can go back to doing what they do best, cooking together and eating together, while also taking advantage of our indigenous crops that we have here on island. So I just want to thank you. Again, my name is Jennifer Hawkins. You see my contact information here, and I'm just super excited about what's going on. I know my presentation and Glenn's presentation is just a little different from the others that will be seen today, but we just wanted to share with you what's going on in our community, and we're glad to be a part of this movement that's really taken off, not only on our island, but across the state. So thank you for having me.
To see you, Kavika.